This is dedicated to all my beautiful queens, all my beautiful ladies out there. She's a queen. Go queen. You got it, girl. She's a queen. You better represent. Go queen. Go queen. Go. She's a queen about her business. Queen. Working hard on a mission. Yeah. Head high, purpose driven. Purpose driven. Crown on never tilted. Queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go queen. Go. Represent. You're a queen. You're a queen. Oh.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Key Chat podcast. So today my guest is Miss Jasmine Moloch, and she is the founder of Mysfit Moon. She does amazing gemstones, and she has like a very, very, very unique story behind her product. So I actually want to just go ahead and jump and give her the floor so she can introduce herself and give a background regarding her gems. So how are you doing today?
Hi, hello everybody. I'm Jasmine. So I was in the military for 6 years. I was an Army officer. And I just knew, I wanted to switch careers. I just knew I wasn't going to retire. It was something I wanted to do, and I enjoyed it, but I just knew I want to do something creative. You know what I mean? Like I just had this feeling that I wanted to own my own business and do something else that was, more towards the creative side. So when I got out, I, fiddled around with a few things, and then I discovered making jewelry. I just was making my own jewelry, and I just ended up really loving it and loving the gemstones, loving how they felt, loving, the meanings behind it. And that's really how it started. Real simple.
Now, the name of your company is Mysfit Moon. So when I was researching you, Mysfit actually has an acronym, and it's May Your Spirit Find Inner Tranquility. Yes. So a lot of the things that I read about you, I really loved. I know, and I'm going to touch on all these different things. You have different thoughts about positivity being a mindset. People that follow me, I'm huge on mindset and positivity. So I want to start off with, first of all, this is the gemstones and the beading. So I know, like you did mention, you had served 6 years in the military, and you were inspired shopping one day. You were at a festival or something, and
I was at a fair, and I was actually doing artwork. I painted at first. I was painting. I did abstract paintings, and I was shopping because you can't help it when you have these festivals, So I went to look around, and I noticed this girl. She was making her own jewelry, and I never really paid attention to gemstone jewelry. I always paid attention to silver or gold or stuff like that. But I didn't realize how nice gemstones were, and that they're natural, and they came from the earth. And just talking to her and looking at all the pieces, I was like, oh my God, I really want to make some of my own. I love the meanings. I love positivity. I love things like that. So that really made me fall in love with it when I saw it. I'd never paid attention to it before,
So with the gemstones, and I really want some education on this. So I was reading that the gemstones, they have different meanings, different metaphysical meanings. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it depends on how deep you go into it. I'm still learning about it and stuff like that. But yeah, different gemstones represent different things. Back in the day, a lot of gemstones were used in armor. They're used in statues. They're used for healing purposes. The natural crystal of the gemstone in its natural state. It's carved out of the earth just like that, and it's just known to have really good properties. Sort of like how copper. How copper has good properties for your body. It's the same with other gemstones. Copper is not the only natural metal or natural stone that actually has good effects on you.
Okay. Now, when you decided to get into beading and learning about different gems, what was the process? What type of research and studying did you have to do?
Girl, I did too. I was reading books. I was going on, the modern encyclopedia, which is YouTube. And
Yeah.
I was trying everything. And I mean, it took me a long time to actually get to this point, like to this point of, you know, my style and like getting to things that I feel like people will really like and enjoy. But it was a lot of research, a lot of practicing, a lot of just asking other people that may have made jewelry before, things like that. So
Okay, okay. What I like about when I was researching your business is the fact that it's more than just beading. It has like this deep message behind it. So I know one of your messages is that you're determined to spread the message of positivity to others in a way to uplift their spirits. So can you elaborate on that?
yes, I always try with everything that I do, just um to make sure that I represent positivity, because you know what, I worked in a lot of places even within the military and before, and you know, toxic leadership and bad, you know, negativity, and I realized how much negativity can really impact everybody, everyone's attitude, everyone's work performance, everyone's day. I mean, it's just, there's nothing wrong with venting sometimes, but I really feel like positivity can go a long way. If you have that strong mindset, I feel like it can carry you through. And why not be positive about things? You know what I mean? Negativity is not going to help you. You know, it's not going to contribute. And also, just selling my jewelry, I just noticed how people, everybody has a story, and they want to share it with you, and they love to be encouraged, and I like to encourage other people, and I just feel like it's something that gives joy to people, and I just feel like, you know, it's just it's important to spread that. It's so many negative things going on in the world, and I just feel like it's not ingrained in you to just go straight to the positive. It's always negative, 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 and negative self-talk, negative thinking about each other, social media, and negative effects. So I always try to like make sure that I'm spreading positivity.
That's wonderful. So,
Mhm.
how do you tie negativity and combating that with positivity? How do you spin it and tie it with your jewelry? Like with your jewelry, does it? And I know, like we were just talking, like
Mhm.
obviously the gems have specific
Mhm.
meanings and different powers, I should say. So, how do you tie them together? The spreading positivity in the gems.
Well, a lot of times when I research the stones and stuff, I'll have like little cards with them, and it'll
Mhm.
tell you what the metaphysical meaning is, and the, you know, what the positive meaning is behind it. And also like a lot of shirts that I have, like this shirt in the back, it says positivity is a mindset. I make my own shirts, and I always have like a positive message on them. So that's how I try to like bring the positivity, you know, with the jewelry and make that connect. Hopefully I'm doing that. I hope.
Mhm. Mhm. And I love that. Like, it's true. Positivity really is a mindset. The way that we think, what we absorb, what we speak, what comes
Mhm.
out of our mouths,
That's right.
the people that are we allow in our circle.
Exactly.
Energy is serious. Energy
Energy
can
is
build us or bring
serious.
us down.
Yes.
Energy has to
Yes.
be positive. Anything, and protect your energy. You know, like you have to.
Yes.
You have to bring positivity to your energy. It can make or break you. And
Yeah.
and I just was telling someone today, we're literally just shells. What's inside of us is our energy, and that's how we function through the day. So anything that promotes positive energy is always a good
Mhm.
thing. So I know one of the other things that I researched is the meaning of moon with your name of your business,
Mhm.
Mysfit Moon. Can you elaborate on the meaning of moon specifically?
Yeah. So when I was in the field one time, while I was in the military, I was having such a hard time. I was just tired. There was a lot going on. Like I told you, negative um energy around and a lot of things going on. And I just remember just thinking like, I don't want to be out here. I want to go home. And I was just having such a tough time. And I remember that day because I was just through. I wasn't talking to anyone. I wasn't, participating. I just was over it. Like I was checked out and, and so that night I remember seeing a moon. It was like the clearest, it was like a crescent moon. It was like the clearest moon. And it was just like a sign. I don't know why, but I just felt that was just like, you know what? There's still beauty in the world. There's still things out there to make you smile. There's still, the simplest things that can lift your mood and lift you up. And I was just like, you know what? I want to name it. It has to be something moon because of that day. And that day I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to just go out here. I'm going to do my thing. You know what I mean? I just reset my mindset and, I got through it and that was it. And so I just decided to put that in the name.
And where are you from originally?
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, what made you decide to join the military? And I know that's slightly off topic.
No, I joined the military because I did ROTC in college, and then that's how I was able to pay for my tuition, was becoming active duty. So I was like, okay, yes, tuition paid.
Yeah.
I didn't want those bills.
Oh, I get it. I have siblings. Actually, all my siblings joined the military, but me. I would have never passed the physical to get in the military. So I thought about joining like the Coast Guard for like a week. I was like, girl, they're not gonna let you in. So like, after that idea out the window. So with the whole Mysfit moon, and I know we discussed the acronym of May Your Spirit Find Your Inner Tranquility. How long did it take you to come up with that portion? So I know you have meaning behind the moon, but what made you, what was the story behind it, and how long did it take you to think of that part?
I actually didn't think of that until later on, after my business was already called Mysfit Moon. I just named it Mysfit because I was like, I don't fit into the military anymore. So I'm just going to say Mysfit right now. And that's what I'm just going to call it. And I was like, I'll change it later, And then one day I was like actually making jewelry. I was like, well, what if Mysfit stands? It has to mean something. Everything has to have intention. You can't just throw it out there, just throw something out there. So I was like, oh, what if I did one of those things like back in school where you like write your name down and like J is for this and A is, So I was like, oh, I would just do that and just try to come up with something funny. And then I came up with that literally like in a few seconds. It was just, I don't know how, I just came up with it and I was like, oh my God. And it just hit me like, this is what it's about. This is what I'm about, So I just felt like it was perfect.
I feel like when something is meant to be, it does come naturally and faster than we think. So it was meant to be. So that's why you thought of it. So take me to the actual process of gemstone beading. So how long does it take you to make your pieces? Is every single piece original? Like what's your inspiration when you come up with your pieces?
Well, I honestly, when I just think about what colors I want to do and like the season. I usually go by the season. That's how I give myself a place to start. But I do design all my pieces myself. It doesn't take me that long. I mean, once I make a design, then I just keep, repeating it. But I don't pre-do it. I just start beading and see if I like it. And if I don't, I take it off and start rebeading again. And I don't know. Some stuff takes me a couple minutes. Some stuff takes me longer, maybe an hour to do. Or, if I'm making like a layered necklace with a lot of pendants on it, it takes a long time because those take a long time to make sure everything's secure. It's little pieces. But usually when I go to like my supplier, I want to see like, what do you have? Like, what's new? And then I just go by the feeling. Like if a certain color keeps grabbing my eye, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get this. And that's how I like go through the process. I just go by my gut feeling. If I feel like I like it and it's different, then I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And I just, I don't know. I just go by the gut feeling. I never go by like, well, I know everybody likes this, so I'm just going to sell this because I've seen it everywhere. Like, I can't do that. I just cannot. Right. I just go by my gut. And a lot of people will just tell me, I like it because it's so different. It's just different. People want different stuff. They don't want the same thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Is that what you primarily do, your business? Are you a full-time entrepreneur?
Yes, full time.
Awesome. So how long have you been doing this full-time?
Full time the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I love encouraging entrepreneurship. So what was that journey like? Has it been? And I'm trying to stop glamorizing entrepreneurship on the show because it is hard. So I realize maybe I tend to glamorize it slightly, and I'm trying to like scale back from that. So people could get the gritty portions of it. But like I told someone, for me, the glamour is number one is in being free because it's yours.
Yes,
You have to say
is.
something. So just tell me, like, walk people that are listening just through the steps of being an entrepreneur. What has it done in your life? How do you feel about it? Like, what's the beauty? What gives you joy about being an entrepreneur?
Well, I'm going to say this. Entrepreneurship is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an understatement. It is very hard. And speaking on the glamorization, like I do feel like a lot of people think like, I'm going to start a business, it's going to blow up. I'm going to be like, Fashion Nova or whatever it is. And it's just and it doesn't happen like that. I mean, you really have to be uncomfortable and you got to push yourself, beyond, which is what I feel like the military gave me, was that ability to be comfortable with the uncomfortable and basically the suck of it all. It's just like, wow, I'm gonna keep going because I gotta prove to myself, you know what I mean, that you can do it. But the freedom, I wouldn't trade that for the world. There's no way I could work for anybody else again, because I understand how, you can use your own creativity, your own ideas. And I feel like if you don't work for yourself in your dream, then you're going to be working for someone else in their dream. And that's okay for some people because they do believe in other people's dreams. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying for me, I want to create that generational wealth for my future children. I want to create that something, you know what I mean, that they can have that saying, no, she did this from the ground up. You know what I mean? So it's been really hard. I think one of the things I've learned is that you can't compare yourself to other entrepreneurs, especially in the same field as you, because you don't know their journey. You don't know, where God is taking them. And you have to focus on your own lane. And as long as I try to be a better me every day, every time, then it'll naturally come. You know what I mean? You got to just stay in your lane and try your best with what you have. Because everybody does that. And it's hard spending money on your business. That's another thing. You never want to spend money. You're like, I just don't want to, invest in yourself. Is really hard because you don't know if it's going to work. And a lot of money gets wasted on things that fail. I mean, you're going to fail. You're going to fail over and over and over again. I'm like comfortable with failing. I'm like, if it fails, let's try the next idea.
Right.
So those are just some of the things, I could go on and on forever about entrepreneurship. It's just so broad, so many lessons.
But you hit a lot of points, and that's the part too, you got to spend money to make money. That's the part that makes no sense, but it's like you have to spend money to make money. And as we all know, when you're just starting out, and to me, a new entrepreneur is at least the first 5 years. It's like you're still technically. And it's like when you do have a nice little windfall and you make a good chunk of change, it's like, man, I got to pay blah, blah, blah. I need to invest this.
Oh, yeah.
So like you say hi to the money and it does go, but it's a wheel, it's a cycle, but it is a great feeling when you work for yourself. And it is not for everybody. It really is not. But some people I feel are meant for it, like you're just created to make your own and to make money in a creative way, So it is for certain people too. So with your jewelry, what are all the pieces that you do create?
Oh, like what types? Like necklaces, like that?
Yes.
So I do bracelets, necklaces, chokers, anklets. What else I do? Layered necklaces. I'm starting to get into doing waist beads. I'm like practicing that right now to see like what I want to do, how to make them comfortable, you know, make sure they don't break or snap and stuff like that. I think that's about it. I think.
Okay.
Everything.
So what did you start off with originally when you decided to start making the jewelry? Did you just start making all the different types of pieces, or did you start with one niche?
I started with necklaces, and they were like beaded necklaces, like kind of big bead necklaces with like big pendants. And that just did terrible. I like them, but they weren't like, I was just starting. So it wasn't, the designs weren't that good. And it was just not good. I just started with necklaces and some bracelets. And then I started looking at other jewelry. Like I just started researching other types of jewelry. Like, oh, let me try a layered necklace. Let me try doing this and that. So it just, you know, went on from there.
Who, if you had to describe your average customer or who you have in mind when you're making your pieces, who is your average customer?
I guess someone who definitely likes to accessorize. I guess someone who likes something simple, but with a little bit of sparkle, and that you can mix and match with different pieces. So, you know, I always think like, okay, how many things can you match this with? Because nobody just wants to wear one thing with one thing. You know, you got to be able to spread your money out and like feel like you are wearing a lot. And also, the people who buy my jewelry, they like to stack it. So you can mix and match pieces together and stack them up on your arm and, you know, wear the necklaces together and like layer them and stuff like that. So.
Okay. And where can people find your jewelry? Are you selling them in stores? Like, how do you find your customers?
I sell on Etsy. I have an Etsy shop. It's called Mysfit Moon. And I also right now physically, well, since the whole pandemic happened and everything, that shut down a lot of festivals that I went to. But I mostly sell on base in Warner Robins at the Exchange Mall. They have like a little mall there. So I usually set up there and sell there physically.
Okay. So one of the other good things that I found about your information was you like going against the odds and staying true to yourself, even when others don't agree. So how did you come to that mantra?
I just always have been like that. That's just how I am. Like I said, like I just go with my gut. And no one can tell me, like, once I feel something, I'm just like, no, I have to do this. Like, it's just a gut feeling. I have to just be myself. I have to be, I mean, that's in everything. In marriage, I'm like, babe, we're not going to just be a marriage like everybody else's marriage. We're going to define our own marriage. What does it mean to be married to us? So, and we don't don't care about what people think, what they say. And that's anything that I do, because you have to stay true to yourself. You only have one life. I'm not going to live my life for other people. You can't be happy like that inner tranquility, that's peace with yourself. Whoever you are, you have to be at peace with that. You have to go to bed with yourself every single night, you know? So that's just how I am in general. That's how I am.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I totally feel that. So I want to learn more about the metaphysical connection with the stones, because that's something I'm not really familiar with. I have heard of different things. So can you name a few of the different stones that you work with and give us, the people that are going to listen, including myself, because I want to learn about this, and tie in exactly the metaphysical component with the different stones?
Yeah, one of the most popular is Tiger's Eye. I don't know if you know which one that is. It's kind of like a brown, and it's sort of like holographic in the light. It's brown colored. That one is really good for strength. That's like a good strength stone. And what's funny is like the people who buy that, like a lot of men buy that stone. A lot of women buy it too, but a lot of men buy that stone. And then another one is like onyx. I have an onyx here. Let me show you.
Okay.
So this is what an onyx looks like. It's black.
Okay.
Onyx is good for strength and protection. That's like a good stone for strength and protection, stuff like that. And then like howlite, it's really white. It looks like marble. It has like gray in it. It's white with gray. That's good for like calming and grounding and and soothing, you know. So those are just some examples of like the top stones that people really like.
So how many different stones do you work with?
Oh my God, so many. There's so many. There's like jade and amethyst and amazonite and moonstone, sunstone, onyx. There's so many types. I did not even realize how many types of gemstones there were when I started. I'm like, what? And this is what is it called?
And when you decided to start beading, did you even know initially, like, hey, these are not just beads I'm going to be making bracelets with? Like, they actually have something behind them? Like, did you know that ahead of time, or is that something that you got deep into once you started? Did you have any inkling that these beads and stones had meanings behind them, like metaphysical ones?
Not really. I mean, I thought that like the crystals, you know how you see like the raw like crystals, I knew they did, but I didn't realize that was the same thing. I really started getting it. I just like the way they look and they felt, and they were like heavy and they're cold. If they're real, they're cold. They have like a cold feeling. It's very soothing. And then once I started getting into it, because I wanted to know, to be able to tell people, because people will ask you, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. They're like, okay, so what is this good for? What is onyx good for? And people are really into it. So I was like, okay, I need to start really learning. So I just started reading books about it, because on the internet there'll be a lot of different things, but like the books that are published about it and like the history on it, and like, you know, so that's how I started learning more as I went on, so I can tell people, because people do like things with meaning, whether you believe it or not. It's still positive, you know, if you believe it or not, it's, you know, the meaning is there, you know.
Yeah. So do you mix the beads? I know that may be like a dumb question. Like, okay, so you can mix them. Okay.
You can mix them up. You can have different beads on one thing. Yeah, you can have a lot of people like that too, because then they have like the different meanings on there, you know.
So basically, wearing the beads, because it has the metaphysical components, it just gives you energy basically if you wear them. Like, how does it work as far as the physical aspect, or maybe the energy wise? Like, how does it work in that way?
You can wear certain one, like when you wear certain ones, like for certain things, like just say you like rose quartz. That's like a really popular one. It's pink, and it means unconditional love. So you could wear it just to feel like you want to give yourself self-love. You want to remind yourself like you love yourself. It's like a gentle reminder that you do that, and then it's supposed to like reflect the energy to you. You know what I mean? Some people wear certain ones to like deflect negative energy. So if they know they're going to be around certain people or whatever, they'll wear it, and they feel like it really does help like keep them at bay and just keep them over there by the, you know, and keep that energy over there, and just, you know, protect your energy and so, and you can cleanse them, like you can rinse them, sit them in the sun, put them on a quartz like this. Let me show you. Sorry for my messy workspace.
No, definitely show
this
us.
This is a clear quartz stone.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see. Okay, that's better.
Oh yeah,
this is the actual real clear quartz stone.
Okay.
And you can sit your bracelets on it, or your jewelry, your stones on it, and it's supposed to like, you know, absorb the energy, cleanse it, and then you can wear it. Because a lot of times when you say you go throughout your work day, right? You work in an office, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You're not only exhausted because of the work you did, but you're exhausted because people's energy, their complaints, they're talking, they're, you know, imagine somebody that works in an emergency room or somebody who was in a hospital, like they're tired because of that energy that's going on. So this will absorb the energy. So you have to cleanse it, you know, put it on there. It'll take the energy out, you know, you can rinse it off, you can do whatever, shower with it. And they don't turn color because it's natural. So they never turn.
Wow, that's amazing. So do you get like custom orders? Do you do personalized orders for people?
Sometimes I do. I was doing that in the beginning, but then I stopped because it just got way too exhausting, and they want stones you don't have, and it was like, I don't know how to get what you need. So, I mean, if they see what I have there and they just want to like add a bead or something like that, if I have it, I'll do it, on the spot. And or if they ask me, do you have these beads? Can you make a bracelet with it? Then I will, stuff like that. So.
Do you categorize your products based on what metaphysical positivity the stones brings? Like, do you have like a self-love section, or a ward off negativity section? Like, do you categorize it?
I don't, but that's a great idea. Actually,
Yeah,
I don't usually do it because a lot of them have similar meanings, like cross meanings. Like, they have a lot. But that's a really good idea if you don't mind me using that now that you said that.
It's fascinating because me personally, I mean, like, it's pretty interesting. So, like, if I bought a bracelet, like, I literally would want like a little card telling me, okay, so this bead is going to do this.
Right. I have the cards with it on there, but like grouping them in sections would be a really good idea, actually.
I mean, the way things are, it really wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
People need as much as they can to just really bring in some positivity, especially what you mentioned about warding off spirits. So before we wrap things up, and like, I love just everything that you're doing as far as the meaning, like you said, and I know when I was reading about you, you mentioned having intention, and I think it's definitely important to have intention in everything that we do, especially when you have a business that's centered around having that intention. So what would you say if you had to summarize your intention? And I know we talked about, and it'll probably be a sum of what we discussed, but I know we talked about you just wanting to make sure people understand positivity is a mindset, spreading this positive message. What would be your number one intention just behind everything that you're doing right now, and how you're trying to just, even with the beading, it has a message. So what's your intention behind everything?
For other people or just for myself?
As a whole, for other people, what drives you, what motivates you, whatever comes out in your heart right now.
I feel like my intention is, like you said, like to spread positivity and to let people know that, when you listen to this, just know, if you change your mindset just every day, little things that you say to yourself, like if you say, oh my God, I look fat today. If you change that thought, immediately say, you know what? I'm grateful for my body. I love my body. It has done so much for me. If you do that throughout your day, you will get so much inner peace from that. And I try to just get people to feel encouraged and feel like they can change their mindset to positivity, because it's important. It's hard to do and it takes practice, but that's like my whole message. My whole goal is to get people to think positive and to know that they can do it. They can do anything that they want to do. You know what I mean? So that's basically.
Right. And that's purpose, that's intention. And I do talk about self-love a lot. So what are your thoughts also on, and I know you mentioned like there's beading actually that promotes self-love. So what's your thoughts on tying in positivity and having a positive mindset also with self-love? Because I tell people a lot of times, if you truly love yourself, it changes how you think. It changes the decisions that you make. It changes how you view life. So what is your personal take on tying in positivity and having a positive mindset with self-love?
I feel like, number one, no one can teach you to love yourself. You have to have that love for yourself. But it does take realizing what about yourself is worthy of love sometimes, you know, because some people don't realize, and it could be the smallest things. I feel like there's a lot of distraction, especially with social media, to be like perfect and to be a certain way. And that's just not reality. And people look at that as reality. And I just think every day understanding that the basic functions that your body has and does for you will make you love yourself. You know, at the very basic, you know, functions of is self-love to me. Just breathing in air every single day and having that feeling of, you know, air in your lungs and in your body. That is right there, just loving yourself and taking time to love yourself. Love that you can breathe. You know what I mean? And I'm just all about like the simplest things can give you self-love and positivity. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. So before we end everything, I end every single show asking my guests this one question. So how do you define a queen?
A queen. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Does everybody say that or no?
No, just speak from your heart and you don't have to overthink it.
A queen. Oh, I feel like it's hard. Okay. I define a queen as someone who is consistently working on herself and working to improve things around her, I guess. Basically just spreading that love, that joy, loving yourself, and never giving up on yourself. I guess I would consider like a queen and so many other things, but I'll just say that.
No, I love that because I always speak about being in a constant state of ing. So I actually love that. So before we end everything, I want you to tell everyone how they can find your pieces, number one, how they can shop with you, how they can contact you, but definitely tell everyone how they can get to this online store so they can purchase your gems.
Yes, so it's an Etsy shop. If you haven't used Etsy before, it's like a search engine for handmade products mostly. And what you do is you just type in your phone or in the browser www.etsy.com/shop/Mysfit Moon, and it's spelled Mysfit. So that's where you can shop. I'm updating the shop Friday. It'll be back open with all my new stuff. So if you see it's on a break, that's only because I'm relaunching more items on Friday. And my Instagram is Mysfit Moon. Very simple.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us, Miss Jasmine Moloch.
Thank you.
And I'm really fascinated on this information that I learned. Like you learn something new every day, you know. And
I'm glad.
Right. I mean, I heard some things about stones, but I just never knew in depth what you just mentioned. So I definitely plan to look at the items on your store. It's just really fascinating, actually. So I definitely wish you all the success with your business. I love what you're doing. And I love the fact that your intention behind your business is a positive mindset. People, I swear, they don't realize how powerful what we think and what we say, how it really navigates our life. And it drives the energy that we have. And I really don't think people, not everyone, obviously, because you and I get it and other people, but you know, I think in general, sometimes people underestimate the power of just thinking. Literally, positive thinking really does mean a lot. So I really, really wish you success. I love what you're doing. So for everyone listening, you guys heard what Miss Jasmine said. Positivity is a mindset. So for people that do follow me on Instagram, everyone knows I talk about positivity being a mindset almost every single day. I do talk about self-love as well. But as we mentioned, it all ties together. When you truly love yourself, you can't help but think positively. You just have a different mindset. You literally view life through a different lens because you just see things totally different. So I do want to encourage people that listen to this, just think about positivity as a mindset. And it is not anything that you necessarily come up with overnight, but just evaluate how you view things and try and look at it in a positive way. And I guarantee that you'll see life differently and you'll view things more positively and you'll feel free. So for everyone listening, make sure you go love yourself. Thank you again, Miss Jasmine, for being on the show.
Thank
I
you
wish
for
you all
having
the
me.
success. And everyone, please go to Etsy. And like she just mentioned, it's Mysfit Moon. That's Mysfit. So thank you guys for joining the Key Chat. Go love yourself.